Welcome, welcome, welcome to day 64 of the Free to Hope presents the 12 steps applied to COVID-19. My name is Edwina B, and I'm a truly grateful recovering alcoholic for 30 plus years, as well as a survivor of COVID-19 with 7 other family members. To God be the glory. The 12 steps adopted by Alcoholics Anonymous over 80 plus years ago is being applied to this COVID-19 pandemic. And as you will continue to hear and see that we who are in a 12-step program, believe in practicing these steps that are spiritual in nature to all our affairs. And when we apply them to all our affairs, they all work. And for that, we are truly, truly grateful. And we want to give homage to our Creator who breathed life into you this morning and me who woke you up and me up this morning. It wasn't the alarm clock. It wasn't the grandchildren. It wasn't the dog. It wasn't even the trash truck, right? It was our Creator who chose you and me to breathe on this happy new day. I know it's a new year and a new month, but guess what? In my 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous, we learned that every day is a holiday, every day is a new day, and we need to make it a happy day if we apply these 12 spiritual principles in all our affairs, not giving anything or anybody that much power ever again to make us go back to drinking, nor steal our joy, our peace, our tranquility. Why? Because these spiritual steps helps us to create a spiritual transformation that will produce spiritual maturity to achieve that psychic change in order for us to apply everything from a spiritual angle while we walk this earthly journey. So that's why we need to give homage to our Creator. We also want to give homage for a 30-second moment of silence to our Creator who knows the beginning, the middle, and the end of this COVID-19 pandemic. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But guess what? In recovery, we learn to stay in the present, take one moment at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, and we can get through it because we know where our strength comes from, and we know that we are on a spiritual plane instead of a physical one. And having that 30 seconds of silence, giving homage to our higher power, those who have lost their lives to COVID-19, those who are left behind as a result of losing loved ones to COVID-19, those who are on the borderline of passing from COVID-19, those who are suffering right now from COVID-19, those of us who are intervening on the behalf of those who have COVID-19, those who are in restoration from COVID-19 like me, and even those who are still defiant, still rebellious, still thinks this is a hoax, right? We want to pray for the entire human race because we are our brothers and sisters keepers. And therefore, we need to be all inclusive to help the weak ones, for those who have gained some strength, those who have gained some spirituality as a result of these 12 steps. Not talking about religion, not talking about the medical field, but we're talking about spirituality, as Dr. Bob, Bill, and Dr. Carl Jung discussed in the 1930s, that people with addiction and alcoholism need a spiritual experience to bring about a spiritual awakening to create that psychic change. And if we use the same 12 spiritual principles to COVID-19, we too can have that same experience. So let's give 30 seconds of silence in homage of our Creator and the entire human race as we deal with this COVID-19 pandemic. Please join me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you on behalf of those who can't say thank you, who won't say thank you, those who refuse to say thank you. I've learned that God uses broken, shattered, and wounded people like me and like you to rescue wounded, shattered, and broken people like me and like you. Therefore, we can speak on behalf of those who are still defiant, like me, those who are still rebellious, like me, those who are still egotistical at times, like me, those who are self-centered, like me, those who are selfish, like me, those who have that attitude of being invincible, like me. And therefore, I know that God prepared me to sit before you this day of my journey and the journey of my family members who contracted COVID-19 back in November of 2020. So if you want to see the transformation of what COVID-19 looked like on me, go back to my podcast of December the 3rd. If you want to see the first introduction of me presenting to the world my experience, my strength, my hope, my wisdom, applying the 12 recovery principles in my life, go back to April the 1st of 2020. As a result of an article by Dr. Scott T. Allison that I received on March the 31st of 2020, received by my good friend at my AA home group, Stephanie J. God said, Edwina, let's go. I'm saying, what? Yes, let's go. April the 1st, as he quoted in that article, how we as a society can benefit from the wisdom of the 12-step programs during the month of April. Well, it's a new year and a new month, and the COVID-19 is still rearing its ugly head, impacting us like nothing else, affecting us like nothing else. The outcomes are devastating. The statistics are gloomy, and those are the ones that are just reported. You better believe there are 2 to 3 times the more of people being impacted and affected by COVID-19 that are not being reported, right? So we want to be able to utilize the wisdom of these 12-step programs outlined by Dr. Scott T. Allison, and to use the wisdom of Dr. Bob, Bill W., and Dr. Carl Jung that said we need to learn, apply, evaluate, practice these 12 spiritual principles, because we are, as Donald Lawrence says, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being living and walking this natural experience. So if we apply the spiritual principles to our attitudes, ideas, behaviors, choices, decisions, from a spiritual nature, dealing with this physical condition, we can decrease the perpetuation of COVID-19. We can save one life, one family, one culture, one community, one city, one state, one country. And if we do it around the world simultaneously, we can stop it, slow it down until the Creator decides enough is enough. So while we are all, as a human race, experience and having this knee bowing experience simultaneously, we can share with each other the solution, the spiritual solution, not the religious, but the spiritual solutions that are embedded in the 12 spiritual steps. So I want to again welcome you to day 64. We have a lot to share with you. Yesterday on day 63, I told you that I was scheduled to get the vaccine shot, and I did, and I have a videotape of it. Because I can breathe, I can smell, I can taste, I can see, I can feel, I can hear, but I want to, and I did listen. Listen to the simple suggestions of the CDC. That's why you seeing me wearing my mask, even though there's nobody else here in the studio. But guess what? I want to be an attraction to how we can still breathe. You can hear me. And if I ever meet you outdoors, you're going to see me with a mask. And if you don't, pop me up beside the head and say, where's your mask? I'm not going to pop you, but I'm going to say, where's your mask, right? Yes. Because we need to take this seriously. You don't have to succumb to the fatalities and the severity of COVID-19 if you just listen and are willing to apply the simple suggestions, the simple 12 spiritual principles to our entire life, but in order to combat COVID-19. So I ask you, are you in the prevention mode of COVID-19, intervention mode of COVID-19, or the restoration mode of COVID-19? Are you being proactive? Are you being inactive? Are you being reactive? Or are you being responsible as a result of this COVID-19 pandemic and all the other variants that are among us and are coming? So we need to put the armor of the 12 spiritual principles on so that we can stop the perpetuation of the effects, the outcome, the fatalities of COVID-19. So I went and got my vaccination shot yesterday. Wait a minute. If you from Missouri, here go the needle, right? I got a video of it, because I recognize that my old attitudes, ideas, behaviors, even with 30 plus years in the program, still challenge me to ask myself, Edwina, I'm going to take this off now because I'm putting my glasses on. Edwina, with all the information that you had, with all the information that you've been using, you still was rebellious and defiant and stubborn and egotistical regarding the information, the experiences, the tangible evidence of COVID-19, and you still had that attitude of being invincible? Yes. Which is why I believe I was chosen among many who are trying to plant the seed to encourage you, one person at a time, one family at a time, one culture at a time, one community, one city, one state, one country, to wear your mask, to wash your hands, to social distancing, right? To stop going to public events, family affairs, like today is a biggie. Oh my God. Because of my attitude of being defiant and rebellious and having that attitude, it's okay, we're family, we're friends, there's going to be a lot more deaths, particularly this day with the Super Bowl. But ask yourself, are you willing to lose your life? Are you willing to contribute to the death of your loved ones, your friends? Are you willing to do that over a football game? That's why these 12 spiritual principles will help you and me and millions of others who participate in a 12-step program address our old and existing attitudes, ideas, and behaviors, choices, and decisions, to see, are we making sound decisions or are we making insane decisions regarding COVID-19? Ask those who have lost loved ones what they would do differently, how they will act differently, how they will continue to do what they need to do, in order to prevent their loved ones from contracting COVID-19. Ask them. And to my podcast to share their experience, strength, and hope, just in case you need another person to be convinced. But you know what? I don't know what it is about human nature. Sometimes we have to experience that same thing that we judge and criticize other people about in order to make us believers. If that's what it takes, that's what it took for me, then so be it. Because they say in our 12-step program, some of us must die in order for some of us to live. So I got my vaccine shot yesterday. And again, I was one of those ones who said, I'm not taking it. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what y'all do. Listen, if I ain't wearing the mask and I ain't washing my hands, and I definitely ain't taking a vaccine because of our history, because they did it. Listen, all those excuses based on my perception, based on my attitude, idea, and behavior, but not based on facts, not based on the truth. Because in addiction, we have a disease called denial. And that disease, that character defects called denial has branches. Denial, then more denial. And by the time you get to all of the denials, there's still more denials there. So I did my research. I asked the right questions. I talked to the professionals. I talked to those individuals I trust. I talked to my higher power. As I did, I don't want to die from COVID-19, nor do I want to contribute to the death of my loved ones. From a 2-year-old up to a 78-year-old, all 8 of us didn't have to be here. We all could have died. And so because I refuse to give in to COVID-19, I'm going to do everything I can to save my life, the lives of my loved ones, and possibly yours. Okay? So I decided to get the COVID-19 shot. It was prompted by a call from my church, Canaan Baptist Church, where Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock resides. And he is an advocate for the community, for justice, for all that regarding his congregation. And believe me, if he says it's okay, I'm going to trust that God spoke through him, and therefore he spoke to us and put out the invitation. And mine came from Reverend Daniels, Robert Daniels, a recovering drug addict and alcoholic like me, over 20-something years, who is the substance abuse director at our church for the substance abuse ministry. So you see how we can apply these 12 spiritual principles even to the choice of our religion. But now we are applying it to COVID-19. So I want to thank Canaan Baptist Church. I hope your church do the same thing, or your hall, or whoever your worship place is, and whoever resides over that particular place. Mine's happened to be Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock and Dr. Debbie Bullock. I trust them. And I trust Reverend Daniels. And I yield to the call when he said, Edwina, I dreamt about you last night. Huh? And we talked about the dream, but he also said, I got the vaccine shot and I think you should too. And I said, where, when, and how? I'm on my way. So I told y'all yesterday I was going to share with you what that experience was like. So before we get into our conversation on recovery principle number 5 and introducing you to what we're going to have as a base for the foundation, I want to share with you the clip from me obtaining the vaccine shot. Okay, so let me see if I can do this. Okay.
All right, here we go, my daughter. Got it? All righty, put your Band-Aid on. We'll watch you for about 15 minutes. Okay. And then we'll check on you and we'll give you a date. In about a month, we'll call you. How about that?
In a month?
Yeah.
All right.
28 days.
All righty. Can you take a steel shot next to the doctor here? Hey, take it.
I think I got some.
All right.
Got it?
Wasn't that awesome? Wasn't that awesome? And I'm telling you, when you get signs, when you are in tune to the spiritual realm, you will see the connection, the dots being put in place. And for Dr. Coker to administer the shot to me just validated that this is what my higher power wants me to do. He wants to use me as an example, as an attraction, just to save one life, to save one family, one culture, contribute to one community, one city, one state, one country. I'm only one. But if you listen, you can be among those who want to share the solution. All right, so I'll be interjecting that video off and on throughout this segment. Okay, so let's get to the morning recovery conversation of these steps. So I mentioned Dr. Scott T. Allison, Psychology Today article. So let me put that up. And I shared with you that on March the 31st, I received that article from my friend and I read it. And Dr. Allison stated how wisdom of 12-step programs can get us through April. And if you remember April of 2020, when they asked us to lock down, he uses the Al-Anon 12-step approach, which used the same spiritual principles we're going to outline next, right? And the 7 points that he emphasized from an Al-Anon approach: 1, letting go of control. 2, having patience. 3, keeping the focus on oneself. 4, trust. 5, living in the present. 6, social connections. And 7, service to others. Okay, we're going to go to the next slide and introduce you the 12 steps. And so, as I said, they were customized by Alcoholics Anonymous, but we are changing the area of focus from drugs, alcohol, gambling, lust, sex, what? Overeaters Anonymous. They all use the same 12 spiritual principles. Now we are replacing it with COVID-19. 1, we admitted we were powerless over COVID-19, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, soundness of mind regarding COVID-19. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him regarding COVID-19. 4, made a searching and fearless more inventory of ourselves regarding COVID-19. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs regarding COVID-19. 6, were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character regarding COVID-19. Let's continue on to the remaining steps, right? And they are number 7, humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings regarding COVID-19. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all regarding COVID-19. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so will injure them or others, even you, regarding COVID-19. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admit it regarding COVID-19. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for the knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry it out regarding COVID-19. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others regarding COVID-19 and practice these principles in all our affairs. And so as a result of being in the recovery process for close to 31 years, if God breathes life into me and wake me up on February the 23rd of 2021, we will be celebrating 31 years, one day at a time, in the recovery process. And for that, I am truly grateful. When I mentioned Dr. Carl Jung, Dr. Bob, and Bill, when they got together and said we needed a spiritual experience to bring about a spiritual awakening that will create a psychic change, and Dr. Carl Jung said you need divine intervention, divine providence, and there's an organization called Divine Light that I am associated with. So it's a beautiful thing how God prepares us to walk in our destiny, to achieve our destiny and create purpose in us. And so by working with Divine Light, who is a minority, female-owned business, in the state of Maryland, Pennsylvania, and now Delaware, it's a recovery treatment program for those suffering from addiction, mental illness, and all associated behaviors, as well as those who are homeless. Divine Light, they are one of my sponsors. F.R.E.E to Hope, LLC, is one of my sponsors. F.R.E.E stands for From Recovery, Emerge Empowered, to give others hope, help others prosper equally. They are one of my sponsors. And Women Do Hall, H.A.U.L. LLC, is one of our sponsors. So if you want to sponsor this F.R.E.E to Hope presentation, applying the 12 steps to COVID-19, please contact me via email as you see on the bottom of the screen, or call me directly, 302-690-6679. This presentation is free, but guess what? If I get some sponsors, we can increase this platform and share this information to as many people as possible in order to save a life. Come over here, Muk. Here come one of my 2-year-olds. The other 2-year-old who had COVID-19, he's upstairs, still asleep, huh? Come on with grandma. Sit down. This is Muk. Say hi, Muk.
Hi.
Say, how you doing?
How you doing?
Huh? Speak with your mouth. Say, how you doing?
How you doing?
Say, what's your name?
What's your name?
What's your name?
What's
Your name is Muk. What's my name?
Grandma?
Grandma?
Grandma.
Grandma what? Grandma Weena, right?
Grandma.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if one of my grandchildren succumbed to COVID-19 and I had a part in saving their lives, how much guilt and remorse I would have. And I know others are experiencing this as well. And that's why we have to continue to do what we need to do so moments like this can be cherished, right? And so I implore you to become a sponsor so that we can again present this free information to give hope to others. So I want to again thank my sponsors, Divine Light Inc., Free to Hope LLC, and Women Do Hall LLC. So let's get back to our presentation. So you know that Dr. Scott T. Allison presented that information using the Al-Anon approach. Now we want to get into the breakdown of the steps. And the ones that I use come from Jason Waller, Jason. Yes. And WAHLER. When I went to go online to research, to extract information, to see what template, what form, what synopsis, what overview, that I can use to make this information as simple as possible, I came across Jason Waller's breakdown of the steps. So I didn't know he was an actor. It didn't mean nothing to me. The fact that he was a recovering alcoholic, he has an awesome podcast, jasonwaller.com. Please go on his website, extract the information, extract the breakdown so you can follow me as we have this conversation. In the meantime, the 7-year-old who contracted COVID-19, he's in the picture over here in the middle with the red jacket on, right? He gave me this cup over the holidays, but he too he too contracted COVID-19 as well as other members of his family in January, because the adults made the decision to have a birthday party and a family gathering because they thought it was okay that they met in November. And guess what? Everybody, 90% of those in attendance, including my 7-year-old grandson, contracted COVID-19. And there were some who almost died. I ran into, listen, he don't mind me sharing his name, Pastor D, Pastor Derek Johnson, right? And my heart goes out to him and his family. And I'll call him Dr. Tyrone Johnson, right? They lost their baby sister. And COVID-19 took over parts of their family, and some succumbed to the fatality. And Pastor D almost died as well. But God blessed him. God spared his life for whatever reason. Only him and God, only God knows. Only God knows. And like Pastor D and myself, we are servants. Dr. Cornell Bronson, I'm going to bring him on as well. He survived along with his wife, COVID-19. He too could have very well died. You don't have to succumb to the fatalities of COVID-19, which is why I am advocating that you take that vaccine shot so that the severity of the symptoms one can contact through COVID-19 and experience through COVID-19 can be minimized, to the point you don't need hospitalization and possibly could save your life. And when I read and I listened to the data, the statistics, the information, facts versus myth, I was convinced that I and my family members, particularly the 2-year-old, right? He suffered for days with a fever. And most of them were asymptomatic. Now, isn't that something? So the adults, we need to protect those that are in our care. And I'm doing my part to protect my loved ones, my family, my loved ones. I love you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Okay.
So let's take a drink of coffee, okay, before we get into this discussion. All right. I can breathe. I can smell. I can taste. Mm.
Hi, so.
Huh?
Ring.
Say that again.
Ring.
Where's your drink? It's upstairs.
I want to go get
You want to
it.
go get your sippy cup so you can have a drink with Grandma?
Yeah.
Okay, go get your sippy cup. You be back? Okay, hurry up, all right? Oh my God. I'm telling y'all. I no words. Okay, so let me keep on track. Okay, so now what we're going to do is review some of the information that I extracted from Jason Waller in terms of utilizing the 12 steps, but applying them to COVID-19. All right, so let's continue our presentation. All right, so I'm going to go to the next slide, which says we are on recovery principle number 5. And many of you know that on recovery principle number 5, we need to say again what it stands for, what it means. And it says, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. You know what admits means? It means to confess to be what is true, or to be the case typically with reluctance. Some of the questions we're going to pose so that we can provoke some action in this aiming to achieve that psychic change. Okay, what do you believe is the importance of admitting your wrongs to another human being? What do you think will be the benefit for this disclosure? How do you decide to whom to share this information with? And how does one get to the exact nature? So we are going to discuss that again with other questions. But in the meantime, we are going to finish Jason Waller's breakdown of COVID-19. So we know that we were at the point. So if you want to go back to what we covered so far regarding recovery principle number 5, go back to day 60, I think. I think we started there. But today is part 4. All right. And if you want to go back to the introduction of the 12 steps, go back to April 1st. If you want to see the COVID-19 experience on me, go back to December the 3rd, and you will see the transformation. So I always believe, oh, you got it. Come on. It's nothing in there. Like, go tell Sammy to put some juice in there.
Let me see.
Huh? Sam, go wake him up. Go wake him up. Tell him to put some water in it. Okay? All right, well, get some juice. Tell Sammy, wake Sammy up and get some juice and come back, okay? I love you. So, go back and be brought up to date because I want to cover as much as I can. So, yesterday, we talked about, I'm just going to read what we covered yesterday so I can go back on, right? It wasn't until we admitted that COVID-19 had made our lives unmanageable and we need to surrender to COVID-19. Now, of course, I am placing what Jason Waller says about alcohol with COVID-19, okay? That we were unable to respect COVID-19 for whatever reason we were going to get into, right? The same holds true with the admission that we make in the 5th step, that we made in the 1st step, that we are powerless over COVID-19, that it is making our lives unmanageable, right? And so the 5th step goes along that same admission. Until honestly share and understand the exact nature of our wrongs, we are not likely to have the willingness or the ability to choose another way of living. I want to live. I want my loved ones to live until God decides to call us home, not COVID-19. He goes on to say he can remember doing his 5th step for the first time. It seems strange to sit down with another human being and tell them about his character defects, secrets, and behaviors, bad behaviors, or share about how he hurt people, with his stomach and knots, sweating, emotional, and stammering through his words. He managed to complete it in just a few hours, and afterwards he felt amazing. The same thing I had to do when I know I contributed to COVID-19. I had to sit down with my spiritual advisor and let them know how defiant, how rebellious, how stubborn, how egotistical I was in regards to COVID-19. And she helped me get to the exact nature that helped to adopt that attitude, ideas, and behavior, knowing very well I had the information from applying it to the 12 steps for my alcoholism and drug addiction in that lifestyle. And for the almost 30 plus years, I have been living a new life. And so I need to apply the same thing to COVID-19. And so I selected my spiritual advisor, and we're going to talk about who to select to share your character defects to help I get to the exact nature of our wrongs, okay? He also says, now this is the next part that we're on, right? I felt amazing once I admitted, once I confessed, once I was honest. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness is the how of the program. Because I told you in our 12-step program, some of us must die in order for some of us to live. And it says all human beings are ill to some extent, and all human beings can benefit from the wisdom of a 12-step program. So this last section, I told you these doggone dentures, man, listen. So it says, before we take the 5th step, I'm going to read what Jason Wallace says in this section applied to alcohol, and then I'm going to replace it with COVID-19. He says, so take a deep breath, say a prayer, pocket your pride, and illuminate every twist of character and every dark cranny of your past. In revealing your most distressing memories to another person, most likely your sponsor, be as honest as possible with that person, looking at who you are and who you would like to become. Be vulnerable and don't hold back. Sharing our inventory with another person who can listen with compassion gives us an opportunity to free our minds and our hearts, and then be open to receive unconditional love. Yep, you heard him. No matter what you've done, you won't be judged or shamed. So let's apply this to COVID-19, and I will interject my own personal experience, strength, hope, wisdom, lack of wisdom, bad choices, bad decisions, regarding my character defects, and being willing to get to the exact nature of my wrongs, of my decisions, of my choices, of my attitude, ideas, and behaviors and actions. So take a deep breath. I'm setting the foundation in preparation of you doing your 5th step. Take a deep breath. When I did mine for alcohol, I told you I weighed, it seemed like 200 pounds, right? By the time I got through with my 5th step, I was down. I lost a lot of weight because I emptied that garbage can. I got rid of that diarrhea. That baby came out. All right. And so it says here, so take a deep breath, say a prayer. Oftentimes we forget to invite our Creator, because it says admit it to God, our Creator, your higher power, whoever you call him, knowing that we want to bring in to our myth, that force that woke us up, that breathed life into us. That's the one I'm talking about. He needs to be invited because he already knows everything, right? He needs to be invited, acknowledged. So it's through that prayer line that we invite our higher power in and admit to him what we already know, and to another human being, right? And it says, pocket your pride. Pocket your pride. We know of the quote unquote 7 deadly sins, and pride heeds the procession, right? Do you want to put pride before you or your loved ones and cause you your death or them their death for pride? Are you serious? I felt the same way. That's why I can't judge you or criticize you, because I may be talking to you, but I'm talking about me, okay? Which is why I feel qualified, responsible, and obligated to share with you my experience, okay? It says, pocket your pride and illuminate every twist of character and every dark cranny of your past. I shared with you how, as a prostitute, I got pregnant and I made the choice to have an abortion, and I consider that murder. It took me 10 years to learn how to forgive myself. Could you imagine having the information now that I've had for almost 30 plus years, contributing to the death of one of my loved ones? How much guilt and remorse I would be carrying? And that I know some are today, but guess what? These 12 spiritual principles can set you free from that guilt, from that remorse, from those regrets, providing you do something different, providing you be restored to sanity, provided you take this COVID-19 seriously. Pastor D will tell you, Dr. Brunson will tell you, others that I will bring on to share their experience, strength, and hope will tell you. Yes, all of us have a past. But we're talking about your behaviors, my behaviors, attitudes, identity, behavior right now during this COVID-19. What we used to think, what we used to believe, what attitude we used to have, but now it's going to change, providing you are willing to take these steps and do exactly what they say to the best of your ability, being totally honest, being totally open-minded, to get the information to save your life, the lives of your loved ones, the lives of your culture, your community, your city, your state, your country. And if we do this simultaneously, everyone, we can decrease the fatalities, the severity of COVID-19. So when I did my research about taking that vaccine shot, I dispelled some of those old attitudes, ideas, and behavior that kept me sick. I got rid of those denials that prevented me from getting the help by putting pride aside and practicing some humility instead of being humiliated. And sometimes that's what it takes. And that's why I'm saying this whole world is going through a knee-bowing experience. All of us, to one form, fashion, to one shape, form, or fashion. We're all going through it. And that's why we all are in this together. So no, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to criticize you. I'm going to pray for you. And I want you to pray for me, even if you don't mean it. Okay? And it also says here, in revealing your most distressing memories to another person. And so when we talk about those character defects that are preventing us from wearing the mask, from washing our hands, from social distancing, from not going out to public places, having these family gatherings, and not taking the vaccine shot, to dispel those myths, right? To be a part of the solution and no longer a part of the problem. It takes a conversation with someone else to get to the exact nature of those character defects that prevent you and me from doing the next right thing. Not based on the physical, but based on a spiritual angle. We have to address this pandemic from a spiritual angle in order to deal with this physical condition. So it says, and talking with that person is essential. You can't find nobody to talk to me. Listen, talk to me. You see, I'm transparent. I ain't got nothing to hide. I have no secrets. Because in recovery, they ask us, do you want to save your behind or do you want to save your face? So when you go back to December the 3rd, you will see what COVID-19 looks like on me. For 30 plus years, I've been taking off all those masks, the mask of image, the mask of lust, the mask of sex, the mask of deceit, the mask of this and that, right? That contributed to forming those character defects within me and applying these 12 spiritual principles so I can have a character of integrity, of honesty. Yes. So we need to talk to someone to help us get to the exact nature. Not to find out what's wrong with you, but to find out what happened to you. As we described in recovery principle number 4, when we went back as far as we could to identify where those attitudes, ideas, behaviors, decisions, actions, choices were formulated, and what situation, what scenario, what feelings it generated, how did it affect you, how did it affect others, and what part did you and I play in it. And once we do that 4-step inventory and we select that person to do our 5th step with, we will see that stuff that was that iceberg that was on top of the water was just the surface. Taking off that mask and putting on the mask that will save your life, my life, the lives of other loved ones, right? We need to go beneath that iceberg, underneath that water, to go as deep and as wide as that iceberg is until we get to the core of that iceberg. And that's where that character defect is. And we'll be sharing that. And that's why I'm preparing you to keep tuning in, right? So we can learn the exact nature. Okay. Let's see the time. Okay, let's continue. It says here, in revealing your most distressing memories to another person, most likely your sponsor, you want to choose me, your spiritual advisor, but we're going to talk about who to select, right? Be as honest as you possibly can, looking at who you are right now. Are you defiant? Are you rebellious? Or are you, in compliance? Are you humble? Are you willing? Yes. So that means both of us need to talk to one another. Those who are doing the right thing, those who are not doing the right thing, to find out how we can all do the right thing together. The next right thing. And so that's why I need those who have been, have enough humility, have been in the prevention mode the whole time, who are taking this stuff seriously to help us get the word out to those like myself who don't believe, who are in denial, who still wants to be rebellious and defiant. Help us. Help me. Share your experience, your strength, and your hope on a platform. Promote the vaccination. Yeah. So let me show you again. It's real simple. Here you go.
Here we go, my daughter. Got it? All righty. Put your Band-Aid on. We'll watch you for about 15 minutes.
Okay, okay.
And then we'll check on you and we'll give you a date in about a month. We'll call you. How about that?
In a month?
Yep. All right. 28 days.
All righty. Can you take a skill shot next to the doctor here? H.O.P.E.
I think I got some.
All right.
Got it?
My granddaughter, see, this is where I got my shot. You want to see? Let me see. Here, pull it off. Pull it off. Go ahead. It's not hurt.
Wow.
It's all better. Yay! Yeah, I see. You want to kiss it for me, Grandma? Oh, thank you. All right. Yes, it's all better. Okay, so we need people like myself who once was in denial, who did not believe. I've become a believer. That's for your mask. Okay. I have a seat. Grandma, I'm almost finished. Okay. Okay. Go show Sammy. Yeah. All right. So I became a believer, right? And so, Mo. Gotta be quiet, okay? Okay. I got a present for you. All right. So I became a believer as a result of me going through this COVID-19 and 7 other members of my family. And so when it talks about, sharing our information with another person, I wanted to share. Okay. Oh, I have to put it on later, not right now, okay? Can you wait till Grandma finish her TV show? Okay. All right. So when I agreed to take the vaccine, it was based on my own experience, right? But it also challenged me to use the information I already had that I'm sharing with you so that we can save each other's life. And just like I shared yesterday, that I was scheduled, I believe, divine intervention through Reverend Daniels by way of Canaan Baptist Church, where my pastor, Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock, believed in taking care of his sheep, right? His sheep, yes. And so as a result, we were able, you have to turn that down, okay? We were able to impact the lives of ourselves and our loved ones, all right? Got to turn it down. Okay, right there, that's good. All right, and so I thank God that me showing you, me getting a vaccination, right? That I'm from Missouri, not literally, but you may be too, and saying, show me, right? Because I had ideas, now they're giving them sugar, they injecting water. No, but when Dr. Coker, she had already left. And when I asked specifically for her, they say she already left, but guess what? She walked right through the door. And after she vaccinated me, she had to leave. So why was I chosen? Why did she walk through the door? So you need to hear the connection. You need to hear the spiritual connection that I know I have with my higher power and that I'm trying to connect with you. I know I'm connected. Yes, I do. Yes. Oh, all right. So the last thing it says here. Well, I'm not even... These are happy tears that I'm alive, that my granddaughter right here is, all of my family members who had contracted COVID-19 are alive, right? And we just need to be in the prevention mode, intervention mode, restoration mode. We need to be proactive, Or are you reactive or inactive? Or are you going to be one of the ones who will be responsible and respect COVID-19 and do what you need to do to save your life and the lives of others? One person at a time, one family at a time, one culture at a time, one community, one city, one state, one country. And if we do it simultaneously, we can stop the perpetuation of COVID-19. So if it's God's will that we are here tomorrow for day 65 and he breathed life into us and wake us up tomorrow, we will be reunited so that we can breathe, we can smell, we can taste, we can touch, we can feel, and we can be a part of the solution. So again, I want to say be safe, be safe, be restored to sanity. Wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance. Don't go to public places. Don't and don't go to family gatherings, huh? And more importantly, I suggest that you be vaccinated. That's my suggestions. Just like the 12 steps, we suggest you take the suggestions of the CDC, and we hope you take the suggestion of getting vaccinated. Until tomorrow, be safe. Be safe, be safe, and be safe. So let's tune out, and you can get to see my sponsors. All right. And I want to thank them once again. All right.
All right, here we go, my daughter. Got it? All righty, put your Band-Aid on. We'll watch you for about 15 minutes.
Okay, okay.
And then we'll check on you and we'll give you a date in about a month. We'll call you. How about that?
In a month?
Yeah.
All right.
28 days.
All righty. Can you take a steel shot next to the doctor here? Hey, take it.
I think I got some.